Well, thanks for joining everyone. I know it's been like a busy month. Everyone's been doing their vacation thing. And Carl, is your daughter married yet? Or did that happen yet? Or is that coming soon? Is that in June? I don't know. I know Carl's about to marry his daughter off soon. But it's been a busy month. So we do have a smaller group today, which is totally fine with me. So for today's content, we're going to talk a little bit about customer experience and some best practices. And I know you guys have probably joined some of my webinars or Tech Tuesdays in the past. I love the word customer experience when you're talking about services that you offer, because I do think it's all about, for our partners' customers, that actual customer experience that you're providing. So today's agenda, we're going to kind of talk about an introduction into customer experience. And then I want to talk to you guys about what you maybe think you define customer experience as, and I'll tell you what I think the definition is. And then we're going to talk about some solutions that you have at RingLogix already available to create that customer experience with the solution. And, I have a little quick snippet on how does this increase or retain your customers? And then we'll have Q&A. But as always, feel free to ask questions throughout this whole topic. That's why we do it this way. So my introduction to customer experience, and I love the little Zig Ziglar quotes, but, stop selling and start helping. I know my personality, I'm kind of a natural born, I guess, helper, right? You give me a problem, I'm gonna try to fix it for you. It's gotten so bad that sometimes even in my my real personal life, my friends and I decided to start saying to each other, I just want to vent. I don't want a solution. Because I have a couple friends that are like me. And so when we start venting about our day, all the solutions start popping up. And it's like, no, no, no. I just wanted to word vomit it out. I don't want an actual solution. But with that being how I am, I like the customer experience word because I don't like to put people in certain boxes with products, but building an experience for a customer is really cool. So customer experience. What if anyone wants to share? What is your version of customer experience? What are you trying to provide? Does anybody want to share anything? No, you just want me to do it all? Okay. I'll tell you my version if nobody wants to talk. But to me, customer experience are solutions that are designed to enhance user satisfaction, engagement with your products and services, and loyalty to you, right? Building an experience as opposed to selling a product or a service is to me a way to package it much better than a sales process. So some solutions that you guys have that already available to you, and some of them are coming soon, right? So I'm kind of giving you a sneak preview of what's kind of coming down the pipe as well. So solutions that we're going to talk about on this call are inbound call tracking. We're going to talk about call recording and quality monitoring. We're going to talk about call analytics and sentiment analysis, and that's actually coming soon. We're going to talk about CRM integration and omni-channel integration, which is also one of the items that's coming soon. What I kind of want you guys to do and think about is changing your discussion, right? Instead of selling products and services to the customer, it's helping the customer to win the deal, right? Solving problems. So inbound call flow, right? Tracking inbound call flow. Why this is cool, right? Because when you have a customer who is, when they say certain triggers, right? That's when you're going to be like, oh, I can do that. I can track inbound call flow. Because when you track inbound call flow, or your customers do, it can result in identifying high and low performers in a workplace. It allows for coaching opportunities, whether that be, coaching bad behavior or praising good behavior. It usually can provide scalability within a company. You can help management make decisions like, do I need more staffing, performance evaluations, who's my shiny star, who's my weakest link, things like that. But it also improves the customer experience. And the solution that you can offer your customer are the call center scopes that you have available. So I know, and you guys will probably laugh at me, I know I kind of tease a little bit about NetSapiens contact center being very vanilla. And I feel that way because the way they call it call center. If they called it like tracking inbound call flow, it would probably make more sense because that's truly what the call center scopes do in NetSapiens is that they give you the ability to track inbound call flow. When you hear the word call center, it's kind of deceptive because you're expecting like this full-blown call center solution that suits thousands of people, when you could apply these types of scopes to smaller SMB customers who just want to track their inbound business and make sure that their employees are helping their customers. Does that make sense so far? Anybody have any questions? No? All right, so we're
Sorry.
gonna take a look. Yeah,
Where
go
would
ahead.
where would I find call center scopes?
So where you like in NetSapiens? Like in the PBX?
Yeah, where in the PBX would I find them?
Yeah, so when you add a user, right, to the PBX, you have 5 scopes that you can assign on a user level. So you have your basic user, your office manager, call center agent, and supervisor, which is what we're about to go over. And then you also have no portal, which basically a lot of people use for like lunchroom phones and break room phones. Do you know where I'm talking about?
I'm going in there now, so yeah, you can
Yeah,
go on.
you wanted me to go in and we'll play together here?
Yeah, I don't want to sidetrack you, just thought it would be.
No, you're not sidetracking me at all. I do have some screenshots in here, Eric. But I'll be more than happy to like show you guys. Maybe if I can get out of there we go. Let's go here. So I have a couple little demo accounts that I use just because I test a lot of things at RingLogix. So I actually have in this is like my demo reseller account. I actually have a full-blown contact center experience built out for our sales team. So basically, when you go and you build your PBX, you can either do it when you're adding the user, or scopes can always be changed. So if you create a bunch of users and you make them all basic, you can go in and change your one-offs. But you have all your users here, right? So simply the action of changing the scope right here will make what I'm about to show you available. Does that make sense, Eric?
Yeah, I have call
Cool.
center agent, I think, on almost everybody except for the supervisors.
Okay. Yeah, and the supervisor, you need that to run the reporting that the agents are pulling, right?
Okay.
So that's kind of what this will go through next. But let's hear, we'll hop back. Nope, but that's cool. So let's go here. So call center scopes, what do they do? So an agent scope, right? And once again, I kind of hate the word agent sometimes, but we use general terms. But this is like your customer service user, or like I said, anytime you want to track inbound call flow. But agents can log in or out. You can categorize calls. You can view their active calls. You can view their call history, and you can view all entries in the queue pertaining to them. Okay. So that's kind of the agent scope. And this is what it would look like. So you have, once you've changed that user scope to call center agent and they log into the PBX as themselves, as that user, they will have access to a call center tab. On that tab, they'll see queues that they are members of. And as you can see, I used myself when I did this and I wasn't a member of any queues. but you can log in and out of queues and it'll show you all the inbound call stats, right? And so this is strictly inbound. Don't forget, I know I've said it about 100 times, but you know, repeating it makes everybody remember. So this is your agent scope. Now your supervisor scope, when they log in as themselves as a user in the PBX, they get to view all the queues. They see system call activity. They get a real-time stats grid. They can view all the agents and their statuses, run advanced call center reports on the inbound calls, and then view real-time stats on any of the agents. So this is kind of what the supervisor scope looks like. And this is, your call center icon once again. So here's all the queues. These are all the active calls within the last 8 hours. These were all of my agents and their statuses. And then that's the advanced call center reports button. So then when I kind of pulled the call center reports button, I can check and I can see this is kind of more like a one that has active, data. Any questions on that? Has anybody played with call center? I mean, I think Chuck, you and Carl probably have, I know for sure.
I
Sue?
have, yep, yep. It is as you explained.
Yeah,
Never
inbound
had the
mostly.
need for it yet.
Not a need for it yet?
Yeah.
So, now when you say that, Sue, right? Tell me why you think your customers don't have a need to track inbound calls.
Just because the clients that we have, they've just never requested it. We've never pushed it forward to them. They don't have enough time today to do what they're doing.
Gotcha. Yeah, I just, I don't like the word contact center because it puts something in, especially a customer's head, like, well, I don't run a call center, right? I'm a small business. To me, tracking inbound call flow can be something as simple as like anybody that markets their service, right? So if you get a bid from like a plumbing company that has vans that go around that have phone numbers on the vans, right? That is a contact center scope type opportunity, right? Like how many calls are they getting from marketing or, anybody that provides a service that basically their customers have to call into them to like receive the service that they provide to me as a candidate for like this type of customer experience.
Hey, Jamie, can I throw something into?
Absolutely.
So we used to agree years ago with that same premise too. We were super busy, one, and two, customers didn't ask for it. And then still we realized that we needed to be a stickier vendor with our clients to retain them, our customers. And so what we started doing is every month when we send out an email blast to our clients and prospects, we would start kind of educating them slowly to like the example you just gave and kind of
That's
break it
awesome.
into a really tiny micro message. And it's like throwing it up against the wall. And eventually all of a sudden you start getting those calls asking, hey, how about that call center, application? That's how
Yeah.
it worked for us.
That's awesome, Carl. No, thanks for sharing that. Yeah, because I think, and I do think like that's like when we talk a lot about like once you've got your customer on board, like maybe upselling later down the road, like that's kind of like something you can upsell to. Because like I said, I wish they would rename it and not call it like contact center or call center. Like, I mean, because even the word like tracking your inbound call flow is just friendlier. And it gives the person that you're providing your service to a little bit more of a vision into what that is. Plus, a lot of times when you offer something and you call it by its real name, people are like, no, because they don't even want to ask you what it is because they don't want to feel like they're stupid, that they don't know what you're talking about. So that's now, Carl, did that increase your MRR once you sent those out and you had people start biting on that?
Yeah, for those larger clients where it made sense to charge them for that, but for some of the smaller clients, we can choose to set that up for them, even something basic for little to no recurring charge. But yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Good stuff. Great, great, great. Cool. Anybody else have anything they want to share?
Do they all need to be call center agent? I have basic and office managers. Are they part of that group as well?
So, they don't have to be call center agents to like track the inbound call queues, in the queue. They need to be call center agents just to be able to log in and out of queues that they're members of. So you could have other users in the queue and still track that call quality on the queue, but you need to have the supervisor to run the reporting. Does that make sense, Eric?
Yeah,
And that it's not an
sorry.
all or nothing thing, right? So, if you have a small business that maybe has 5 people, but only like 2 people are sales and they take inbound calls, you could just make those 2 people, agents, but somebody would need to be a supervisor to run the reports.
Can you dive into the reports for a little bit, or you have that on your agenda?
I kind of have the stats here. I didn't have time to make some real test calls to get in, like I showed you my little fake PBX. I don't have any like real live data because I just didn't have time to like set it up and use it. Like I would call Anthony, we make kind of fake calls to build that data. But this is the stats. So this is the reports that you can pull. You can do like callers waiting, average wait time for a call to be answered, average handling time, the abandon rate, how many calls were answered, and also call volume. So those are kind of the reports or the stats that you see. And here for the stats, you can actually set these parameters. So to match like whatever you want your like service level agreements to be. All right, so that's stats when in the reporting. You can also build analytics boards where you can see like all of your agents, right? Peak call aggregates, call queues, you can build this to suit here in the board. And then the reporting, the actual inbound reporting. So queue statistics and like why would you use that, right? That'd be like overuse of specific agents or people, right? So maybe there's one person that's like doing all the work. That's how you can identify that with the queue statistics report. Abandoned calls, like how many callers are calling in to you and their calls are going unanswered, so they're hanging up, right? Do you have staffing issues? Do you need more staff? Agent statistics, right? That's going to tell you your high performers and your low performers. And then agent availability, right? Do you have people, prioritize based on high times of the day that you have traffic, right? So that's kind of like your agent availability report. Dialed number stats. So you can track marketing efforts with the dialed number tracking. And then you guys all have cradle to the grave reporting now too, which is pretty cool. If you haven't seen that, I can actually show you that. Let's see. Has everybody seen cradle to the grave? Yes. Everybody seen it or no, nobody's seen it?
Yes,
No, I haven't.
No?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nope.
Well, here,
Yeah.
I'm actually gonna, no.
Yeah, I've seen it. Matter of fact, I used it 3 times today.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I love cradle to the grave reporting, mostly because I don't know how to read a SIP log, nor do I ever want to know how to read. I mean, Alejandro's tried to teach me a few dozen times. I'm like, no, I don't want to learn that. Albert's probably going to yell at me, but I'm going to go ahead and log into our RingLogix HQ account, because I can show you some real live action in here. So this is our RingLogix actual HQ account that you guys call into. And if I come over to call history and we're just going to pick on this call. Now in your call history, if you click this little icon, the farthest one to the right, this is cradle to the grave. And this is basically like SIP flow in layman's terms, right? So like call came in from this phone number to our 500, right? That's, one of our call queues or auto attendants. The active time frame is business hours. It connected to an auto attendant, so 500 is it, and it timed out waiting for digits. So the caller kind of just sat there, and didn't, put anything in, timed out waiting for digits, timed out waiting for digits. So like literally this number, which I'm gonna assume this was probably like a robocaller, called in to our auto attendant and never hit any buttons. So it kept repeating till the number finally hung up. Right. So this, and if you're a SIP flow reader, have at it, right? You can connect right to the SIP flow, but I don't read any of this stuff. So, Cradle to the Grave will help you with like what happened on a call. So if you get somebody who's like, calls in and, says, oh, so-and-so hung up on me or whatever, you can kind of check Cradle to the Grave and see if, that's what really happened with the inbound flow of that call. Cool. Is that new to some people? Yeah. Okay. Cool. So this is the same thing. So if you're a call center supervisor, this is a screenshot. Gabriella sends you guys all out this presentation as a follow-up. So, when you click on your reports button, those are the reports that you can run that I went over. You'd select your date range and, you can actually have the reports emailed to you during different, time frames. I think you can set it for weekly, monthly, stuff like that, but you can have them directly emailed to you too for analyzation, for you to analyze. Now, do we have any other questions about call center agent or supervisor scopes before I move on?
Hey, Jamie, I do.
Yes. What's up, Chucky?
How you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
All
Besides,
right, thanks.
yeah.
Hey, I was wondering, is there any way for this call center supervisor to listen in on a call and or take over the call?
Yeah. What are you trying to steal my thunder, Chuck? Did you look at my presentation already?
Well, you're a neighbor. What can I say?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, this is what we're kind of talking about now. So you're right in line. Yes. Something that kind of goes along with that is call recording and quality monitoring, right? So yes, 1,000%. You have access to a feature called Listen, Whisper, Barge. Okay. Now, the feature Listen, Whisper, Barge is not just turned on for every domain that you have. It is a special request that you have to make from our support team to have that turned on. And then once it's turned on, it would allow the supervisor to listen to an agent. They could whisper, which means they could talk to them, but the caller that's on the phone with the agent doesn't hear, or they can actually barge in and take over the call. Okay, so it's free. There's no charge for you to have support enable Listen, Whisper, Barge, but you do have to request it because it's such a powerful feature. We don't just like include it with every supervisor and agent scope, but it is available. And when you're logged in as a call center supervisor, if you saw my list of agents, when you have it enabled, there's little icons next to the agent that allows you to listen, whisper, or barge. Does that help?
Yep, that
Sure.
answered my question.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Has anybody here used it?
I had a customer that used to use it for training purposes.
Yeah. So yeah, you can absolutely do that. And then I like call recording along with that, right? Because being able to record the call and listen to it is really cool. So, this feature for the customer experience is more under monitoring. But some of the use cases, right? Train your staff and agents, ensure compliance and quality assurance. And sometimes you can even use it to like resolve disputes, like so-and-so said X, or they told me I could get this free. If you've recorded the call, you can kind of validate that information. But you do have features available to you, call recording and Listen, Whisper, Barge. We offer 3 types of call recording. 2 of them are on NetSapiens, and you get 100 hours or 500 hours, and there's a monthly cost to that on your agreement. And then we also offer the ability to offboard call recordings to a cloud storage account, Wasabi or AWS S3. And we charge you a one-time fee to set that up, and it covers every domain that you want to have calls offboarded in. So cool. Any questions about call recording or quality monitoring? No? Well, my dog's barking. Oh, she stopped, of course, when I stopped talking. Hold on one second. Sorry, I had to yell at my dog. She's barking at somebody mowing their lawn. Okay, so call recording and quality monitoring, we're good to go there. Okay. So this is pretty cool, and I've been testing this a little bit. So coming soon, specifically with the V44 upgrade. And if you've never heard me say something like that before, you don't know what it is. NetSapiens has versions, and we're going to be upgrading to the NetSapiens version V44. Right now we're on V43. I think that's something I can't recall. But one of the upgrades is call analytics and sentiment analysis. Okay. I've been testing this with Anthony, and it's actually pretty cool, right? So we've got it in Sandbox, and we built a little Sandbox account, and Anthony and I call each other, and we act really happy, and then we act really mad at each other, and we want to see like what it's looking like. So this specific feature actually monitors voice tone, keywords, and then spits out like a customer sentiment analysis, right? So what you can do with this is, it can alert supervisors during transactions because of escalations. It'll identify dissatisfied customers. I think we all usually tend to like try to identify dissatisfaction, but to me, it also like identifies your happy people too, right? We're always really focused on, I think as just humans, as helping somebody get over dissatisfaction instead of rewarding people too for like being happy and being like a good partner of yours, or whatever. We're too worried about the ones that are mad than not really the ones that are happy, if that makes sense. Carl, I saw you came off mute. Did you want to say something?
Yeah. Have you found it to be so far in your testing to be somewhat accurate?
Yeah, I have actually. I've been told, I don't believe it, of course, that I have a Cleveland accent. But
You do.
I know, right? Everyone knows I'm from Ohio when they meet me. But yeah, I have. I mean, besides, I feel like so far in the testing, it's like transcription, right? Like even on your iPhone, like, or your Android phone, if somebody leaves you a message, it transcribes the message that you can read it. And it's a little wonky that way, but it does catch like voice intonation. Like it was even, I was trying to like trick it by not really saying negative words, but like say it in a negative tone. And it definitely made the box like red, right? Where that statement was. It didn't necessarily get what I said right, but it could tell by my tone that I was like not a happy person.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, but that's going to be coming soon, so I'm excited. There's probably going to be an additional charge for this for partners, which it means it's also an additional charge, the additional piece that you can make revenue off as a partner, to charge your customers. But that is coming soon. So CRM integrations. I get probably more emails or tickets asking me questions about, hey, do you guys integrate into this? And do you guys integrate into this? And sometimes I get a little miffed because I've done a bunch of webinars about Nava, and I feel like I bring it up all the time, but I wanted to bring it up again. So we do absolutely have CRM integrations. most of them are not natively done through RingLogix directly. So we partnered with a company called Nava, and they got bought by a company called Akixi. So now we're kind of calling it Nava by Akixi. And Nava integrates into, it'll integrate NetSapiens into over 250 different CRM applications, right? And I constantly get emails or tickets, which I don't mind, but I want you guys to be able to self-service this a little bit. So in the knowledge base, there is a specific article for Nava where you have an app catalog. And I've actually just linked directly to this app catalog. So this is in the knowledge base, but you can also click the link in this document if you ever forget where it's at. I'll show you where it is in the knowledge base as well. So if you come over to support.ringlogix.com and you click on knowledge base and you go to hosted and you scroll down a little bit, right? I might have scrolled too far. No, did I not scroll enough? There we go. So CRM integration, Nava, right? So you have some numbered articles here. So this is the licensing information first. But if you ever get somebody that you've noticed like that they use HubSpot or Salesforce, you know, sometimes we just did a webinar recently, or maybe not so recently, I don't remember, but you know, a lot of people forget about integrations because they're just so embedded in their day-to-day life that they kind of forget that somebody integrated it maybe into their phone system, especially if they're like moving to you all as like a new provider. But if that ever happens to you or you get that brought up, but you can come over here to the catalog and you can search the integration by name. So let's just pick on HubSpot, right? And it'll tell you, yeah, we integrate into HubSpot, right? We do a Windows-based integration and one for Mac. And if you click full details here, it'll tell you everything that the integration can do, right? And then if it's a really popular one, there's usually a little play video button at the top here where you can play a video of what the integration does. So that if you have a customer that's like, oh, cool, like, what does that do? You know, you can come in here and check it out. Now, if you're kind of reverse engineering this, right? Maybe you're looking to target a specific vertical for sales, right? And you want to kind of pre-build a customer experience. So maybe you're an MSP and you want to provide the whole package, but you don't really know like what apps, but you just want to pick a vertical, right? So maybe we do like automotive here, right? So these are all automotive CRM applications that integrate into NetSapiens. So maybe if you're going to focus on a vertical, you can reverse engineer this and say, oh, do you use, motion data vector, right? I don't, whatever's in here, but you can see all the different applications and then you could click on it and see what they do, and it'll give you that same app catalog. And if, like I said, if it's a popular one, like this one doesn't look super popular because there's no like installation video, but if they're a popular one, it'll show you the video. Cool. Has anybody like today on this call sold Nava integration? Yeah, maybe.
And does the
Or checked it.
licensing work with that? Do we have to go directly to Nava to buy that? Do we do it through RingLogix? What do we?
Yeah, no, you buy it through RingLogix, right? So basically you would create a ticket. And so number 8 is ordering information, right? So you create a ticket with our team. You tell us the customer name, the domain, and the user extensions that would like that particular. And you have to tell us which license type you're buying, solo, team, or unite. I will tell you, most of the applications are the highest license, the unite license. Unite licenses are $3.99, your cost, your partner cost that you can pass along to your customer. And then if you click on here, you can see what the different licenses do. Solo, team, and unite. However, also when you're searching the integration catalog, it'll tell you what license you need. So like you saw my HubSpot, see it says license type Unite right here. Most of them are Unite licenses, especially like the more popular app integrations. But yeah,
Where
you
would
ordered
I
from us?
where would I find that their Solo or Unite licenses?
Where would you find them?
Yeah. How would I know what users what? Like if I go, we just went over scopes, call center, agent, is it in the RingLogix platform or is
No,
that
this is so Eric, Nava's a third party application, right?
okay?
So basically what we do is RingLogix signs up with these third party vendors like Nava. We have an agreement with a full blown big contact center product called Zima. We have a third party agreement with Teammate. So RingLogix signs up with these third parties. We take on the minimum commitments and allow our whole partner community to sell these applications. So this is not something that you're going to provision in RingOS. This is actually something that we will add on the back end that it integrates. And then once you've, filled out the ticket and created it, basically, support's going to send you information. So they're going to send you like a link to download it, right? An installation link, and you're going to click it and install it. And once you install it, it's going to put like a little icon. I think mine, I must have turned it off. I actually have an integration on here, but sometimes when I have so like if I repair it, it'll pop up. It'll have a little green dot right here. And when I click it or I get a call, like we use Zoho. So I have the Zoho integration on mine. So when somebody calls me, right, it pulls up Zoho so I can see all the information on that caller that has called into my desk phone.
Okay. So it
Okay.
pulls up like their contact page in Zoho, not necessarily an activity or ticket.
Well, we use Zoho Desk, so yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
So does it
So
search
just
for
depends.
like like an open ticket to reference? Like if you only have one
No, it just
ticket
pulls
or
up like their whatever. If the phone number is associated with like a Zoho contact, it'll pull that up, and from there I can see any tickets associated with that contact.
I got you. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, so that's just like specifically Zoho, like that's but I have the HubSpot. We use HubSpot here at RingLogix as well too. So, you can kind of see all those. But, that to me, making sure that your customers have everything they need is also part of like customer experience, if that makes sense. How did I get so far back here? Okay, cool. Anybody else have any questions about that? Anything? Carl, you were unmuted. Did you want to talk? No? All right. So I know I've talked about this before. I'm going to talk about it again. It is coming soon. Hopefully in July this summer. So omni-channel integration. So some of you were on my kind of proof of concept call with a product called Helios. Helios is a service that's going to integrate VoIP, specifically NetSapiens, with chat, email, SMS, and socials. Okay. So where this is going to be awesome for customer experience is like, you have that maybe that SMB customer that has like their Facebook and their Instagram and they're posting and they have to go check every separate social. Helios is going to pull that all together into one unified inbox, right? And then it's got this another thing everyone's been asking is like, where are the bots, right? Your customers, they want chat bots on their website. They want to be able like, hey, what kind of product do you offer? And it spits out a message. So Helios is definitely coming soon. We actually have gone back and forth with them for a while. We were trying to figure out like how we wanted to support that for you. And Helios actually took some feedback that they got from our proof of concept webinar that we did with them. So you'll be able to most likely in July order Helios through distribution, specifically teledynamics. So we'll make sure we get you guys, check the newsletter. I'll probably do another webinar, but you'll be able to reach out to teledynamics, order Helios. We'll get you an OAuth key to give to teledynamics to do the integration. They're going to be offering support through teledynamics, and based on feedback our partner community gave, they're also going to be offering maybe like a setup type fee that you like a package that you can take advantage of. So like Carl, I know you and Toby had expressed some interest in Helios back when we did that call. So that's coming soon. But what this is going to allow is seamless transition between channels that your customer uses. It's going to maintain contacts across all interactions. And then it's going to create, them one inbox for those multitasking customers that you have that are always on the go. I've always thought Helios was a really cool product, and I've been dying to get my hands on it, but I mostly didn't want to learn it and support it because I just don't have the time. So I'm glad that they took everything they learned from our partners' interaction and they went to someone who could do that for you guys, being teledynamics. So that should be coming soon. And I think this is going to be a really huge part of your customers experience. It's going to make your customers' lives easier. It's going to make their customers happy. I think people like chatting, especially the younger crowd now. I don't love it because I'm old and I like to talk on the phone to people, but I know it's something that that people are using and that it's going to just make their lives easier. So to me, Helios is going to be a big part of the customer experience. Any questions on that? Comments? Concerns? No? Okay. All right. So let's tie it all together. So how does this, all these things, right? How do they increase and retain sales, right? So to me, it's value versus churn. Providing a solution to your customers' pain points makes for that stickier customer. Carl actually said it out of his mouth without even me, he didn't even see my presentation. So to me, customer longevity provides lasting MRR. You guys all do this for a reason. It's not because you're bored, right? It's for monthly reoccurring revenue, right? And whether you're building this to exit at some point, whether you're building it for generational income, like you're going to pass it over to your kids or your grandkids or whoever, you're doing this for a reason, and it's to build MRR, and you want to retain it and keep it, because that's the name of the game. And then referrals, right? We can all do marketing all we want. Marketing's great. Like I don't not believe in marketing. I definitely do. But there is no better marketing than referrals from your customers. Good customer experiences. If you've been on some of our Tech Tuesdays with Green Star Marketing, one thing I learned in that call is customer testimonials are super important. And so we did a couple website reviews on on one of those particular calls, and everybody had their testimonials at the bottom. And one thing that Stephanie kept saying is, move that to the top. That's the moneymaker, right? Like they want to know what your customers are saying. Like your potential customers want to know what your existing customers are saying about you. So referrals equals more customers and more money for you. Q&A? Anybody want to talk about anything? We got about 10 minutes left. No?
I do have one
No,
quick
no.
point of clarification.
Yeah.
So I did hear you say that teledynamics is going to be helping to provide the integration of the Helios licensing and the RingLogix portion.
Well, I don't have it all nailed down just
No,
yet, right,
I
Carl?
understand.
But
But
what
conceptually.
Conceptually, yes. So
Okay.
basically, what's going to happen is you're probably going to come to us and say, "Hey, I want to sign up for Helios via Teledynamics,
Yep.
and I need OAuth keys to provide them."
Got it.
And we'll take the domain and give the customer name from you, provide you the OAuth keys and like a secret password thing
Yep.
so that
Yep.
you can provide it to Teledynamics. I'm gonna assume Dan and I will probably work hand in hand on it. So we'll try to make it as seamless as possible. But they were able to provide support for it and pre-management, like getting it
Mhm.
set up, like obviously for a fee, but that's what everybody asked for.
Yep.
Everyone said, even if we have to pay for it, we'd love to have somebody help us set this up, and so they have the means to do it, which I think is really cool. So, but yeah, we're gonna nail it down. I want it to go as like foolproof as it can be. So me, I'm gonna end up building, hey, step 1 is you're gonna do this. Step 2 is you're gonna do this, right? So
Yep.
I'm gonna build out a process and it'll be in our knowledge base.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, as always. Cool.
What were
Anybody
the other
else?
what were the other products that you mentioned? I think it was Zima and something else around.
Yeah. Yeah, so Zima is a product that we offer. Well, it's like a service. So it's basically full-blown contact center. So that's the real deal. So if you have a customer that currently has like a Genesis or a 5.9 or a nice in contact type solution, Zima is an add-on that can integrate with NetSapiens to give you that full-blown contact center experience. So think about like skills-based routing questions, right? So if you have a customer that's like, hey, when this number calls in, can you make it go to this specific queue? Like NetSapiens doesn't do that. That's a Zima type thing, right? Or location-based routing, like phone number comes in from this area code, we want it to go to this queue. Then we want to be able to track reporting. So that's what Zima is. So it's like your full-blown contact center experience.
Is that just
Um,
ZEMA?
it's XIMA, not like the drink we used to
Oh,
drink in the 90s, but yeah, XIMA. And Eric, if you want to send me an email, I can, if you're interested in seeing a demo of that product, Zima does all of their own pre-sales and post-sales and support, right? So we literally just broker the order. So they'll actually demo it for a customer for you. They provide a quote to me, and then I provide it to you and then you mark it up to sell it. And
okay.
but they do everything. But if you'd like to meet your CAM, just shoot me an email and I'll introduce you to them if you'd like a demo.
Sounds good.
And
Thank
we
you.
have some webinars on our YouTube channel that we did with them that also John Florence, their VP of sales, he demos it really, really well. So if you ever just, want to go check out our YouTube channel and check out those videos, you can see those there. Some other third-party products. See, Wayne was like, Jamie, you're not going to have enough time if you talk about everything. So I did take some of this stuff out of my initial presentation because he's right. I wouldn't have had enough time. But Teammate is another popular one. Teammate allows for integration into Microsoft Teams in various ways. So whether that be your customer already has a full-blown Teams PBX, like with its own auto attendance, but you want a piece of that pie, you can send path of voice in there, so dial tone via direct routing. Teammate also has a PBX connector. So like when somebody calls my desk phone, it's like a big party around here. My desk phone rings, my mobile app rings, my web phone, Teams, Zoho pops up. Like it's like a big old thing every time my phone rings. But Teammate PBX connector allows you to integrate NetSapiens with Teammate so that Teams phone rings when your extension's dialed. And they have a cool SMS connector as well. So cool.
Are they making calls over Teams, or is it just receiving calls through their normal PBX and it gets forwarded to Teams? Is that how
Yeah,
that?
like no, I mean I like literally when somebody calls my desk phone, I can answer it either on my desk phone or on Teams or on my mobile app. I can answer it wherever.
Okay.
Okay. Yep. And I've done a couple webinars with teammates too, so if you've missed those, go check them out. But I think I brought up most of the other third-party products on this call, so. And then Helios is gonna be like a new one, but we're not gonna be doing it directly. It'll be through distribution, so. I have like 5 minutes left, so I want to bring up some programs that you guys have access to if you didn't know that you do. Go Live Assist is a program that we offer. So basically, if you're doing like a cutover and you'd like to have somebody from our team like kind of be there to help you, like especially, I mean, most of you guys have been around a while, some of you are new, but Go Live Assist, if you click on your support tab in the portal, is right here. It's basically books a call with me to kind of be there to help you get ready for your cutover, that if you want to do it day of or if you want to do it pre, but this books time with me basically and it's right directly in the portal. Another thing that people use kind of Go Live Assist for is if you need help building a PBX, or even say you've already built one, but you want to make sure you kind of did it, you can kind of tell me your intention of that, and I will review it with you. So I always do PBX reviews or builds. And then we do have some, I think I'm going to talk about in the next webinar. So if you want to join our next webinar, we're going to talk about some of the different offerings at RingLogix in more detail, like implementation, best practices. And we offer a slew of trainings that I'm not sure if everybody takes advantage of as much as maybe they could or should. So we're going to talk more about that. But these are just some of the programs that we offer our partners at RingLogix, just to kind of tie it up in a little bow there. But thank you. Anybody have any additional questions? And Eric, use that link to you seem like you had a lot of questions and I'd love to spend some time with you. And Jeff, if you want to use the Go Live Assist that I just showed you in the portal too, I can still send you guys both individually my regular calendar link. But book some time with me when you have some time available and like we can talk about some things that you need, okay?
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep,
You are
I'm definitely
welcome.
gonna be doing that.
All right, and Jeff, you better get your camera working so I can see all those monkeys when you have that meeting with me.
Yeah, I'll leave it on next time.
Okay, good. All right, cool. Chuck and Sue and Carl, thank you for joining. Did you guys have any follow-up questions?
Nope. Thanks, Jamie.
You're welcome, Carl.
Just want to wish you a nice wet day.
Oh, I know it's gonna rain again, isn't it, Chuck? Chucky's my neighbor, and I don't want to ever visit him because I'm not allowed to leave the house because I work all the time. So,
Well,
But-
let's be honest. There's about 25 miles between us, but still.
yeah,
I
close
mean,
enough. Closer than I am to Carl now. I used to be closer to Carl than I was to you, Chucky. So,
yeah, this weekend's supposed to be wet.
Raining here.
yeah.
Well, have a great weekend.
You too, dear. All right, and thanks, Sue. Oh, Sue hopped off. All right, bye, guys.